Oh, wow. Perioral dermatitis. It's a beast. It's a beast. I want to share with you my journey through this, and I'm on the other side, not quite there, but almost there. What I did to help take care of this, I've had it twice, completely two different experiences, but maybe things that will help you if you've got it, if you don't have it and you do end up getting it, how to help you through it. And keep watching. I think maybe you can catch a point or two of my experience.
If you're here, then you woke up today. And that is a blessing. Don't take that for granted. Don't waste it.
Well, here we are. I figured I'd put a little makeup on as I talked about my experience having perioral dermatitis. It's kind of hard to even say that word sometimes, so I have to kind of slow it down so I'm saying it correctly. But if you don't know what that is, and maybe you do, I love to know how it was and how did you get through it, because it can be very tedious. It can be very frustrating when you are dealing with it. So if you've had it, drop in the comments like how did the experience go for you, and how did you finally nip it in the bud? Because I have had it twice, and my first go around with it was not it was not the beast that it is now, that it has been now this time around. And what I've come to understand about this particular issue, that's typically around your mouth. It may start really small in one section and then it starts to spread, but it typically just ends up like around your nose. And you can see how I still have a slight redness, but again, I feel like I'm really finally, the meds that I'm on are helping. And that's going to be huge if you find yourself with perioral dermatitis. It's like getting the right meds for you. Now listen, disclosure, please, and I'm going to put it in my comments. I am not a physician. I am giving you totally just my opinion and what I have felt like has worked for me. I'm not even going to share what it is that I'm on, but I do believe that seeking medical attention for it is going to be a plus for you. So that I wanted to kind of get that disclosure out the way. Okay. So the first time I had this, it was very mild, I say. I didn't even really have to see a doctor. I almost just kind of knew what it was. And maybe because I tackled it right away and I didn't allow it to kind of fester is the reason why it didn't get out of control like it did this time. But it was different. And from my understanding of what it is, it could be some kind of a fungus, okay? But not necessarily. And this is where the whole thing of just seeing a dermatologist, and I do mean like a specialist, because one of my experiences the second time around was letting my primary doctor, my general doctor know. And I believe that a lot of just doctors that are not specializing on the skin are going to try to help the matter, and it's going to get worse. At least that was my experience. Yeah, I started on a particular cream, and all it did was calm the itching, because man, does it itch. And if you've had it and you've had the itchiness, let me know too, because I think that's part of even the biggest frustration, on top of the fact that you just don't look appealing, but then you don't feel as well either, right? But yeah, I think that sometimes, and maybe not all, but my experience was that a general doctor who doesn't specialist doesn't specialize in on the skin, may lead you the wrong way and give you certain meds that are going to just worsen it. And you're going to be so frustrated and just so over it, which is where I was, that I finally just said, I have to see a dermatologist. This isn't getting better. And I was just getting so frustrated. So, okay, that being said, seeking medical attention, especially if it does kind of just start to get out of control, which was my second bout. Now, mind you, the first time was years and years and years ago. This time around, I believe that because of just layers of things that were happening in my life around that time is what just made it more complex. And so it's a rash of some form, clearly, but it's just right there. What the even dermatologist mentioned to me was that some years back when we were all wearing like masks, that it became very, doctors were seeing a lot of patients with this whole rash. Now, again, it depends on what it is. Sometimes it actually is a certain rash that pertains to that, but sometimes it can just be some kind of a fungus. So that's where the whole seeing someone can help you determine which one it is and how to treat it. What I found while I was dealing with it, especially on the heavier side, was how to do my makeup and my skincare, because you have to pull back on so much when you're dealing with it. You have to. So I had to go back to like the basics. What I've also realized that there are just like common triggers. Sometimes heavy creams, heavy moisturizers can be a trigger where that can lead to this type of rash. Stress can lead to this. Certain foods that you may be eating can lead to this. There could be a myriad of factors. And I believe for me, it definitely was the stress and how I was eating this second go. The first time, I believe it was just trying a lot of different skincares that I was introducing to my skin, that in that particular area, and so taking care of it was completely different. But then again, I don't really believe that it was the first time. I don't really believe that it was perioral dermatitis. I never saw a doctor. I just went ahead and treated it with like some like Vaseline, and just that was it. Like I kept it simple, but I tackled it early. Now it could have been, but I wasn't diagnosed for it. But I remember it being that way. And this time around, for sure, I believe stress was a factor. Without a doubt, it was a factor. And then, of course, it became complicated because I started adding on certain meds that instead of helping, it just made it worse. So those things are the things I believe that can trigger that particular rash around the mouth, in my opinion. After I even did a little bit of research, it was saying those were also some of the triggers. And it just kind of went alongside of how it happened with me. The other thing is, like I said, about pulling back on like your skincare. I know that could be really difficult, you know, for many, right? Because you're like, oh, I worked so hard with this routine and now I've got to stop, and then it feels like I'm gonna have to play catch up again. But your number one priority, again, is to take care of the issue that's at hand. And even though it may kind of like slow down a little bit of how far you've come along with your skincare, you'll get back there again. And believe me, I know, because I'm a big skincare advocate. Like I love to share about the simplicity things. I've done this before on this channel, as far as like protecting your skin and hydrating your skin, all of the things, right? But you have to pull back with everything, because it's gonna take that much longer for your skin then to be repaired again if you don't. So don't try to fight it. keep it simple. Keep like your washes simple. Um, I kept using I checked with the dermatologist and she has said it was fine, but I had already invested in a big bottle of a face wash with, I'm forgetting the name of the company now. Prequel. And I loved it. I love it. I thought it was, and she said, no, that's fine. It doesn't have any strong, ingredients that's going to harm you. And, really it's very hydrating. But she did mention that Cetaphil, and I'll put a picture here. You can get this face wash. It's really, really good when you're just have more sensitive skin and you're dealing with any particular rash. So said, I think that's how you say it, Cetaphil. Face wash is really good. The other thing was also just pulling back on just a lot of your serums that you may be using. Even up until right now, I'm just keeping things very, very, very simple. Make sure that you are wearing your sunscreen. There were some that the doctor did prescribe and just say, maybe these are the better ones to do right now. And I definitely took her medical opinion into consideration. Again, I want to get a jump on this. It's like I have been dealing with it for like over 2 months. I'm over it. So yeah, just pulling back on a lot of the things that you may be using on your face. And then even just moisturizing, like be very careful, because certain moisturizers, as I said earlier, the thick ones, and that's what we typically tend to use around this time of year because it's just colder and you want like that thick richness of a moisturizer, but that can be more harmful than good. So just be aware. I just really kept it simple, especially, when it comes to nighttime skincare routine. That seems to be the time when we're doing a lot more for our skin. So other than just adding my cream to my face that I was prescribed, and then putting on like just a nice maybe facial oil, but I would just kind of keep it away from my mouth, just over like on the other outer part of my face and on my neck. And that's kind of like what I've been doing. I haven't really introduced a lot of serums back into my routine yet because I feel like halfway through my meds and I want to completely get on the other side. Totally, I'm already like, I believe 80% there in compared to where I was. So I don't want to jeopardize all of that by introducing things back into my routine a little too soon. So keep that in mind. In my opinion, I think that's going to help. The other thing is like your makeup, right? So as I'm putting on my makeup, and you can see how I have added some to douse on a little bit of that redness over on my, around my face. The other thing I believe is so key, and it's something I think honestly that we tend to forget because I don't know if we don't see the importance of it, but it is cleansing your brushes. I've caught myself doing it a lot more, which is a good habit to get into, than how I've been doing it, because I truly believe that that can also hurt the process of the advancement that you could be doing with getting your skin back to how it needs to be. So for sure, I would say clean your brushes. I have 2 ways. I don't know. I might have shared on this here before. I use this brush cleaner. It is amazing. I have truly never found another brush cleaner that works this way. And it is, it allows you to keep using your brushes right away. Right? Like we don't have to wait overnight until they're totally dry. And that's why I like this brush. So it not only helps clean your brush, it disinfects your brush as well, but you're not waiting overnight. So this is a spray that you just use either directly on the brush or like on a paper towel or your washcloth. and you just rub on it after you spray it and just until your brush is completely clean. I would do this every day after I would place the brush, especially on that particular area, because I'm not sure how perioral dermatitis may work as far as contamination, but who wants to take the chance, right? After doing some research on this, I've heard that you can get it in other areas of your face. I'm not taking a chance. So cleaning your brushes is crucial, in my opinion, as far as just not for the sake of just not spreading it, right? And who wants to continue to then battle it longer than you need to? And deep cleaning your brushes for sure. So I say that I would deep clean my brush at least once a month. At least once a month. Like I really try not to let it go over that. All of my brushes, just clean them and then use this real magical, in my opinion, I love it, love it, love it. You can get this, and there's a deep cleaner also on the Seint website, which I have below. I tell you, you're going to not regret getting this. If you have brushes and you don't want to have to go through deep cleaning your brushes like every week, let's say, because this will help cut that in half for you. You could use it however much you need to, daily, weekly. I'm using it daily now because of my situation, but you can typically use them, once a week to clean your brushes, and then have fresh brushes weekly, and then deeper cleaning for the month. Love it, love it, love it. And the smell to this, guys, it smells like bubble gum. I believe it smells like bubble gum. But it is just called the Brush Cleanser, okay, on the site. Looks just like that. Really pretty, sleek bottle. And then the other one is a deep cleanser. It's a soap bar. And it's a black, I'll put a picture here so that you can see how it looks like. And you can get that on the website. When it comes to like your makeup, which I think is the next thing, this is, I think, one clear across the board, in my opinion, is, and you've probably heard the phrase, less is more. Not only is just that a good mantra or just model to go after when it comes to just, mature skin, right? Aging skin. The less you put on, truly, just the more you're going to avoid a lot of issues on your face. But when you're dealing also with some kind of rash, you want to use less. It's going to, I know that your mind tells you, I'm trying to cover up. And that's why what I did, and I don't know if you caught that on how I was applying my makeup, I strategically just start by putting my makeup on so that it's just one layer. And that's the magic of the Seint makeup, because it's cream. You don't have to use it like traditional makeup where you're placing it all over your face and then adding layers of makeup to your irritated, rashy skin, right? So less is more. And when you get to apply the makeup in this form, you are applying basically one coat of makeup, and you're targeting it to what you're trying to achieve, which is evening out your skin tone. And that's basically what I did. Here's a picture of when I first started. You can already see the difference. All I did was warm up my face when I first started with a little bronzer, and then I added to cover or to try to stabilize my shade. Simple, just one layer. If you've never heard of Seint and you'd love to give this a try, please do a color match on you. And there's always a link below that will lead you to have a personalized color match, and I can find the right shades for your skin. I don't leave you hanging. We'll keep in communication where I can kind of walk you through. It is a very different kind of makeup, not a traditional type of makeup. So in my opinion, it is perfect if you give it some time and you give yourself some grace through this process. You are going to end up loving this makeup. I can promise you that. It took me a little bit, but then once I got the hang of it, I was on board. And I tell you, not to say I haven't used others, but I always come back to Seint cream makeup because it's just that good. So as I wrap up, I hope that I've been helpful in some way as far as maybe giving you some head starts. You know, you're at a loss when you are frustrated, when you're dealing with something like a rash and you're not knowing where it's coming from and how to handle it. First and foremost, seek medical attention because I think that you're going to lessen the aggravation for yourself when you do that. But really do see a dermatologist if you can, right? If your insurance allows it. It's just really the fastest way to get through that period. But just remember, it's going to take a little time. Sometimes when we're trying to get ahead of ourselves, it becomes a disaster. And then you feel like it's just prolonging the heartache of dealing with whatever you're dealing with the rash, right? So I'm not going to bore you with my mascara, but I will go ahead and show you a picture of how everything else ended when I add a little bit of blush, a little bit of lipstick, and some mascara in the next couple clips. But I will see you in my next video. Let me know if this has helped you in any way, and tell me about your experience with perioral dermatitis if you've had it.